Good morning, everyone. We're going to go through a morning flow this morning with a few variations from our usual flow. We have a little bit of background noise, which is kind of like a nice white noise in the background we can kind of breathe through and zone and channel out. And we also have this amazing tree. I thought this was the nicest place to make today's video as we're getting close to the end of the school year. So please join me down on the ground in your cat and dog. I think this flow today is going to be best without shoes on because of some of the positions we're getting into. So if you have shoes on, kick them off. A nice padded area like a towel, maybe you're at home in your living room on carpet, or you have a yoga mat laid out like I did. We're going to start with a few rounds through our cat and dog. So bring your shoulders above your wrists, spread out those fingertips, and spread those fingertips out nice and wide, squeezing them into the ground like the pads of a frog. And we're going to start by tucking the chin and rounding the back into cat, lengthening through the tailbone and the top of the head into dog. 3 or 4 times. Inhale into cat, inhale through your nose, exhale into dog, and find that flow. Lifting through the belly button, tucking the chin into cat, and then lengthening, looking a bit further up to the sky in dog. Bring those knees slightly closer together for a couple of leg extensions, starting to warm up the glute muscles and the lower back. And we're going to do a little variation and a little wrist stretch here. So one hand at a time to start with. We're going to face our fingertips back and rest the back of the hand onto the mat. You're still supporting your weight through your opposite hand, but you can start to feel through that stretch as you go into cat and dog. Bring that wrist back to center for cat and dog. And the last one is rotate the fingertips to face back towards the knee. Cat and dog. And let's do the same wrist stretch on the opposite hand. Back of the palm faces down. Remember your breath. Inhale through the nose as you round into cat. Exhale as you lengthen into dog. Come back to neutral hands, back to regular cat. Dog. And then rotate those fingertips backwards, pointing your left fingertips towards the left knee. All right, next up, child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch behind you. Have a little space between your knees and go as wide as you need to for this position. We're gonna start to fold down, trying to keep your sit bones attached to your heels, rounding through your back, tucking your chin, lengthening through the arms to start with. And exhale as you fold. Several breaths here in child's pose. You can actually use your hands to press your hips further backwards, grounding your sit bones onto the backs of your heels. And every long exhale, you melt and round a little bit further, tucking your chin towards your chest. Keep the weight out of your head by using your arms. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can wrap your hands back behind you to grab the bottoms of your feet. Using your arms to pull your hips further back onto the heels. As you inhale, fill the back of your body with air. One more breath. Slowly using your hands to come out of child's pose, back into tabletop. You can wag the tail of the dog a little bit of side motion. All right, please join me in a standing position. We're gonna do a couple of side stretches. We're gonna start with feet about hip width apart. You're gonna interlace your fingers, but point your index fingers up to the sky. We're gonna start by creating a few circles with our hands. So imagine your index fingers are pencils, drawing circles on the sky or the ceiling, clockwise and counterclockwise. And take your hands slightly over to the right, lifting and lengthening through your arms, and over to the left. This time bring your ankles together, big toes together. As we keep our arms nice and straight, our bicep muscles are grazing our ears. We're gonna bump our hips to the left. My left hip's gonna bump over to the left side. As I exhale and fold over to the right. Opening up through the left armpit, opening that up to the sky. So our shoulders are nice and straight. Bump that left hip a little bit further as you lean over to the right side, lengthening through your arms. Come back up to the top, take a nice inhale, and exhale. Right hip bumps out to the right side. Hands come over to the left, lengthening through your arms, opening up the right armpit up to the sky, and make sure you have equal weight through both feet. One more time on each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left hip bumps to the left. Arms come over to the right. Lengthen up and away with your arms. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, right hip bumps to the right. Arms come to the left. We're going to take this side stretch down to the ground for a few minutes. We're going to start by laying on our right side. So right hip, right knee. Right arms come out to the side. Right arm, left arm on top. Left knee on top. Open up the left arm over to the left side. Look towards your left hand. You can tuck your knees up a little bit more, and you can use your right hand to pull your left thigh muscle close to the right. Three long breaths through this position, relaxing both shoulders down to the ground. Gently come out of this position, we come back to the original laying on the right side, and then kick it over to the left. Laying on the left hip, left knee, left shoulder. Right arm comes on top, right leg comes on top. Tuck those knees up a little bit more, and then exhale as the right hand comes over the body. Look towards your right hand. And the left hand can come down to the outside of the right thigh. And breathe into that stretch. Trying to ground the right shoulder now down to the ground. And third breath. Slowly come back to neutral. I'm going to come back to tabletop. A couple more cats and dogs. And last, in your dog, prepare your toes to push your hips high to the sky for downward facing dog. It's okay to have as much bend in your knees as possible. We're trying to bring our belly to our thighs. Instead of being open like this, we prefer to bend the knees and bring the belly closer to the thighs, lengthening through your lower back. Allow your neck to just hang, so your ears are between your elbows. As you inhale through your nose, lift your hips up a little bit higher. And as you exhale, allow your heels to sink a little bit closer to the ground. Inhale lifts the hips. Exhale sinks the heels. We can, if you'd like, to go through three-legged dog series, lifting one leg high up to the sky. And as always, we can walk the dog. Bending through one knee allows you to lengthen and extend through the back of the opposite leg. And please join me in the high plank position, lifting up through the hips, relaxing the back of the neck. We're going to bring and tuck our left knee up towards our chin and hold for 5, 4, lift it up a bit higher, 3, create that space with your arms, 2, 1, bring it back. Right knee comes up towards the chin, 5, 4, lift that knee, you engage in your core, 3, 2, 1. All right guys, belly down. We're gonna lower down in our plank. Your elbows graze your ribs as you come down, and rest your chin on the mat. Hands face down, and they're gonna come underneath your hips with your palms facing down to the ground. Pinky fingers are touching underneath you. Chin is resting on the mat. We're gonna do a lower back and glute series. Lifting up through the right ankle, engaging through your lower back and core, and slowly bring it back down. Left ankle. Press through your fingertips into the ground. Your palms are pressing into the ground. Play with extending and flexing the foot, and bring it back down. One more time through on the right. Extend and flex through the foot. Bring it back down. And with the left. Just to take a rest for a second, allow your arms to rest out by your side. You can sway your hips from left to right. Change your neck position, looking over to the right side to looking over to the left. Arms are coming back underneath. Elbows are coming a little bit closer than last time. Palms are facing down, thumbs are facing out. Spread out your fingertips. This time with your legs zipped together, ankles and toes together, chin on the mat. We're going to lift up both legs at the same time. So engage through your arms, engage through your core, point those toes, lift both legs, and you can flex and point, flex and point, and slowly bring it back down. Bring your arms out to the side. This time we're going to lift everything up, arms and legs, like an airplane. So the only thing that will be on the ground is the hip area of your body. So take it a nice big inhale and exhale. Lift, chest, legs, arms. Squeeze those shoulders closer together behind you. Bring your pinky fingers closer together. Engage through your tricep muscles in the back of your upper arm. And slowly lower down in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Head comes to the side. Shake those hips. Head goes to the other side. Last one, guys. I think in this series, I think you'll have fun with this one. I like to call it the flying squirrel. As we were kind of in this lifted position, we're gonna grab a hold of both feet. One foot, other foot. Bring those knees a little bit closer together. And what we're doing is kicking our feet into our hands as we're also lifting up our chest. So you start to kick the tops of your feet into the palms of your hands, which provides the lift. All the power coming from the legs. And gently lower out of this position like you gently came into it. One leg and then the other. Shake those hips. We're gonna roll onto our back just to take a few windshield wipers. These always feel good. Try and ground your hips straight down. Widen your feet and put your hands on your hips and keep your hips still as your knees rotate one side and then over to the other. But don't let your hips in the back come off the ground. Control this motion from the belly, from your core muscles and hip flexors. All right, everyone, doing so well. That's our nice warm-up. Couple of balancing positions, and then we'll get into Shavasana. So a position we've done a few times before, I'm gonna add a variation to it, is tree. Ankles together, big toes together, hands on your hips. I always like to start by engaging my balance, lifting up the right knee in front, bringing the right sole to the left calf muscle. Keep your hips forward, shoulders up and back, chin parallel with the ground. If you can stay here. This is working your balancing muscles. If you'd like to add a layer, reach down with your right hand to right ankle, press the right heel into the upper left thigh, and the upper left thigh is pressing back into the heel. From here we can grow our branches and our leaves, lifting up to the sky. If you'd like to add a little wind, it's a little windy today. And for the extra variation, if you'd like to move on from this position, is to cross the right heel over on top of the left thigh. Looks more like a figure 4 shape. As we do this, I'm losing my balance. Gotta look at something that's not moving, which is not me. I'm moving, I can't look at that. All right, as I'm grounding that heel into the upper thigh, hands come to prayer or heart center, and we're gonna send the hips slightly backwards as we take a slight bend through the left knee, sending the hips straight back. Concentrating on your breath and slightly lowering into this position, keeping a nice flat back as you send the hips backwards. Then slowly come up, slowly come out, and bring both feet back to center. You can pedal through those legs. That was balancing on the left foot with the right leg high. This time we're going to ground through the right foot, slowly bring that left foot up and off the ground. Hands to hips for tree. Sole of the left foot reaches and presses against the right calf muscle. If you feel stable here, please stay. If you'd like to add a layer, left hand down to left heel. The left heel presses into the upper right thigh. Remember that thigh pushes back equally. And from here, we can grow our branches and our leaves. Add a little wind as an extra layer. And the third and final layer is to cross the heel over the right thigh, taking a slight bend in that right knee as you do so, hands to heart center, and send those hips back as you slowly bend and dip into the right knee. Slowly come on out. Last one. Balancing stick. I'm trying to remember this one. Balancing stick. Why did I write balancing stick? Oh, okay. I got it. I was thinking of eagle. I was also thinking of bow, but I wanted to show you guys this one. Balancing stick. Let's start like we did in tree again. So hands on hips for balance. Slowly peel that right foot off the ground as you bring your right knee up. And we're going to take a hold in front of the right knee and tuck that right knee up towards our chest. This is layer one. If you'd like to stay here, keep engaging through the core to use your core to pull that knee a little bit closer to your chest. Layer two is to interlace your fingers underneath your foot, driving your knee up a little bit higher. So interlace those fingers. And you can stay here, stand up nice and tall. And layer three is to kick the foot out into the palms of the hands. And it's that engagement between your feet and your hands that help keep you nice and balanced. And as you exhale, you can bring your forehead closer to your knee. If you need to come out nice and slowly. Let's try that on the opposite side. Hands on hips for tree. Peel that left foot up off the ground. Make sure you're nicely balanced through the right foot. Bringing the left knee closer to the chest, using your core to do so, using your hands a little bit to touch too. Here's layer one. Look at something that's not moving. Layer two, interlace the fingers underneath the foot. Tuck, lift, and if you'd like to add layer three, kick the left foot into the hands. And you can bring your forehead closer to your knee. Slowly come back out. Mountain, inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Look up as long as possible, bending at the hips. Forward fold. Hands come down to the ground. We can place our fingertips underneath our feet. As we inhale, lift your hips. As we exhale, melt your head towards your shins. Inhale, lift. Exhale, melt. Hands to the mat. Step back. High plank. Lift through the hips. Relax the back of the neck. Lower down. Elbows graze the ribs. 3, 2, 1. Belly on the mat. Feet come up. Windshield wipers. Try and keep your hips grounded here. We're going to roll it over onto our back. Last round of windshield wipers from the back. And lengthen out those legs for our Shavasana. Back of your hands rest on the ground with your palms open and shining up to the sky. Allow your big toes to fall outside of your heel line. Your nose is pointing straight up to the sky. You might check your alignment by taking a quick look from your chin, the center of your chest, through your belly button, to make sure we're nice and aligned. And now focus on your breath. Nice long inhale through your nose. Nice long exhale. can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly as you focus on your breath. Feels nice and grounding. And you can stay in this position as long as you like. I ask before you come out of this position, you roll over onto your left or your right side body, using one or both arms as a little pillow. Take a slight bend in the knees and allow them to fall however's comfortable for you. And spend about a minute on your side before you use both hands to press back up and come out of this practice. This is a great way to start the day, but also a really nice way to end the day. I would probably skip the balancing positions at the end of the day, but very grounding, very calming. Even though this can warm up the body temperature, it's that drop in body temperature right before bed that allows us and helps us to go to sleep too. So hopefully you're sleeping in an environment of about 65 degrees. Getting towards 70 degrees is getting a bit too warm. We sleep better when it's a little cooler. And I hope you guys have an enjoyable rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.